everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Behind the Trance. I am Mama Danielle. Over there is Alistair James. Today we have the legendary David Forbes with us. So, David, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Scotland.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
David.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
So, first of all, thank you everyone for joining us. Remember, as always, ask your questions. We will make sure we ask them for David as well. First of all, David, how have you been? How have you been getting through everything?
You know what? I've been absolutely fine. I've just, yeah, I mean, I know it's been tough for a lot of people over the last 15, 16 months, but yeah, I've just tried to stay positive through the whole thing, and just, it's when the first lockdown started, it was quite scary, I think it was scary for everyone.
It was.
Didn't know what the future held, and some of it we still don't know how things are going to pan out. I think financially for everyone, they're all kind of, it's going down here. What's happening.
Yeah.
But no, I've just tried to stay positive through the whole thing. And I've got a 13-year-old daughter. She keeps me busy on my toes. So and I've, do you know what? I've tried to. I've been in the studio as much as I can. It's just pretty much every day.
Which, being in the studio, means you have a lot of new music, which hopefully we hear a lot of that at Dream State, because congratulations, you were.
Oh, thank you.
You'll be playing on Dream State this year, and it's
Yeah.
your second Dream State, but your first solo set.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Excited?
I'm extremely excited. Last year was amazing. Last year it was actually my debut in America, believe it or not.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
So it was what an event to play your first show in America. It was amazing. Really
And
responsive crowd as well. So early on, it was really packed. It was wicked.
Yeah, the set you and Paul did was just phenomenal. I think it was way too early for the night, but you guys just murdered that set. It was like closing level set. Like you guys set the bar for everybody else who came in after you that night. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited for your set, your solo set here, because God, your music. I've seen you every time I see you, you just blow me away. It's
Oh,
I
appreciate that,
I could
Daniel.
literally praise you all day long.
Do you know a funny story is me and Paul actually put that set together about half an hour before we went on.
I believe it. I totally believe it.
Yeah, we had a folder. We had a folder full of tracks that we bounced back and forward to each other before we went over. But we actually picked the running order. I mean, literally 15, 20 minutes before we went on.
Oh, wow.
So it was quite. We hadn't worked out any kind of cue points or anything like that. It was really off the cuff. But yeah, it's a great set. Really enjoyed it.
Yes, it was absolutely phenomenal. So we got some questions in the crowd. We're gonna get to those. So don't worry, we'll ask your question in a minute. Now with the UK, there's some little turmoil going on. You guys were supposed to open up in June on the 21st, and they pushed it back to July 19th.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on that? Do you think it's going to happen? Because I know there's a lot of shows that are up in the air right now because of it.
Certainly hope so. I think I'm trying to not sit in the fence too much. I really wanted to open up on the 19th. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
With us here being based in Scotland, I think we actually open up a little later. I think it's August we actually open up. I'm sure. I think it's maybe the 9th. I think it is. But I genuinely believe that we really have to open up.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we don't open up, it's just going to be a never-ending cycle. I think and I know it's been very difficult for people that have lost loved ones. But at the same time, we can't hide behind the couch forever.
Yeah.
We genuinely have to try and personally, everybody's got their own opinion on it. I think personally we have to try and start to begin to live with this. I mean, we're all getting vaccinated. I think I think 3 million people in Scotland, again, I'm sure somebody will have a different number from me, but I'm sure I think it's 3 million people in Scotland's had their second jab. I think that's the case, with Scotland having a population of 5 million, so I would love to see things open up. I think we all want to get back to normal as soon as we can, but safely, of course,
Yes. Well, I have selfish reasons why I want you guys to open up because I want to go to Colors Trance Fest in September. I would love to see.
It's an incredible lineup. It looks great. The lineup looks amazing.
Yeah, and then I believe there's like the Wrong event, and then there's a couple other like You guys have so much going on in the UK, so I'm just hoping you guys can get back to some normalcy and
yeah. So
for you, your livelihood, really.
Yeah. It's funny because last year when we locked down was probably my most productive year ever. It was insane. I was just releasing track after track. I managed to get the first number one in Beatport, which was pretty cool. It's bizarrely. It just took me.
Really, that was your first number one.
That was my first.
Oh, wow.
With Splice, yeah. I've always been kicking about.
So mind-boggling, like that you just had only one number one. Your music is phenomenal. Like so many people sleep on you. Like the fact that you just had your US debut in 2019 when you've been around since public domain days is insane. Like you should be headlining everything in the US, in my opinion. So like, I want open and close David Forbes. It'd be the House Sucker, then Dicks Have Thieves, and then you having a whole set to yourself.
This is probably the most genius idea I've had during quarantine.
Oh no, I love it, Alistair. We're gonna sell it to everybody.
Amazing. I mean, I suppose I just feel very fortunate to be able to have done something I love, I'm passionate about. I wake up every morning, just I'll go into the studio, for the last 25 years, so I think, and I've said this before many times, I think success is waking up every morning and doing something you love. Beatport, number ones, number whatever, it's great, it is great that people, appreciate your music, but I think just being fortunate enough to do this for so long.
So we have a question from in this chat. Luminance wants to know, what kind of music does your daughter like, and does she like your music?
No, my daughter doesn't like my music, unfortunately. She likes some of the Hal Stucker stuff.
Okay.
I've let her listen to the new album, and there's maybe 3 or 4 tracks that she likes, but unfortunately, it's got those particular tracks don't have any kick drums on them. Just kind of atmospheric, kind of chill sort of stuff. She likes it. I mean, I don't even know what she's into. She likes, is it all that stuff they listen to in TikTok and stuff like that, or that stuff? I don't know. Or that kind of TikTok. She was in the car with a friend of mine the other day. And they were singing to this song, and I'd never heard it. I was just like, oh, Dad, that's a song from TikTok. I'm giving it my frame, man. I'm not down with the kids in that respect, but I think she's more into R&B and hip hop and stuff like that.
Okay.
So she has, a wee bit of Stormzy and stuff like that as well. Which is quite cool. She's got an eclectic taste. She has. So she has.
Is she musical? Is she musically like gifted, or does anything music?
No. I mean, no. She's not really. She done some things in junior. What would you call it? It's called primary school over here. But when they're before they go to high school, she did some kind of music classes in there. I did a few production classes in a primary school. Whereas I took a small studio in, and we made a track. I got them to design the artwork. Got them to design the artwork, write all the lyrics, play some melodies. I finished the track off and I released it in one of my labels. And all the money that we made, I gave it back to the school.
That's awesome.
So I was just trying to educate. I was trying to educate the teachers and the parents that it's not just a DJ up there giving it the techno finger for an hour or two. There's loads of opportunities that that kids and can aspire to be. You know, there could be a drum tech, there could be a tour manager, there can be a graphic designer, there could be a promoter. You know, there's loads of opportunities within the music industry.
Yeah.
Not just being a DJ or a producer for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know that's. But that, yeah, she's not really into my music, unfortunately.
That's amazing, and I love that. I wish the U.S. kind of invested more into music and arts and stuff.
Yeah.
I know Scotland's probably in the UK is probably much further than the US, but like in Germany, they just basically made electronic music like the music scene, the club scene, like actual an industry that needs to be survived. And I wish more countries would follow like that because the music and the club scene defines generations. It defines a country.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
And and I think if we had a different outlook on it, a lot of things that are happening now, especially like in the UK, wouldn't be happening because you guys would have the support you need.
Yeah, totally. I mean, to be fair, during the pandemic, the music industry, from my own personal perspective, has really stepped up to the plate, and helped self-employed people within the industry. I've certainly had help from, other organisations in the music industry.
Yeah.
Which organisations, I won't name them, but organisations even in Scotland that I thought were a bit elitist, really stepped up to the plate and really helped out, musicians and, self-employed people, especially people in the music industry, and, with it was more kind of financial help during the, and I was really surprised and I'm really thankful for them actually doing that, so, I've had as much help from the music industry, probably more than the government, which is bizarre, which is great. It's amazing. It's amazing that they've actually stepped up to the plate and helped out musicians in Scotland. Incredible.
That's awesome.
I'm very thankful for.
That's awesome.
Super cool. Yeah, it's super cool.
That's really awesome. All right, Alistair, go ahead.
So going back to music production, last year saw the 20th anniversary of Questions Must Be Asked.
Yeah.
And I vividly remember, and I absolutely love the interview that you did with the Tuan on that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know, how does it feel to know that Questions Must Be Asked is 20 years old, and how would you compare your productions from then to today?
I mean, remember that 21 years ago, there wasn't such a thing as a DAW. There was.
So everything had to be analog.
Yeah, so we're still using samplers, sampling records, using a mixing desk, MIDI cables, phonos, synths, outboard effects units and stuff like that, so in order to have a studio back then, you had to invest a lot of money. It wasn't like, let's pull up this plugin or that plugin. I think I had 2 effects units.
Oh, wow.
So I did, so it was a reverb and a delay with maybe a flanger or a phaser or whatever. So I mean, technology's moved so far. It's so far advanced to what it was then. I remember when I first started writing music in 1992, and I think on my first Akai, I bought my first Akai sampler, S950, on my 25th birthday. 21st birthday. And I only had something like 3 seconds of sample time. So, and I've said this before in previous interviews, I only had enough sample memory time for a kick drum, a hi-hat, and a snare, and a clap.
Oh my God!
Oh, wow.
I never used, and maybe a couple of stab sounds, but I never used any crashes in my music back then in the early 90s because I didn't have enough sample time to use it. So that's, I mean, technology's moved. You've just got an infinite amount of channels now, haven't you?
Yeah.
So whereas back then you only had, if you had one synth, that's where the majority of your sounds came from. I only had one synth. I had a keyboard and a Jive 1080, a Roland Jive 1080, and a sampler, a 24-channel mixing disc. That machine we didn't master anything. I don't think I knew how to normalise a bit of audio until 3 or 4 years into writing music.
Mhm.
It was just everything was new. I'm self-taught. Nobody ever taught me anything. Pretty much, a friend of mine, Trevor Riley, just a Scottish legend, had an Ensoniq EPS 16 plus. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole here with tech stuff, but he had a keyboard that done it all, and I was giving it wow. I'd been DJing for a couple of years, and I was giving it wow. This is what I want to do. So the kind of production thing, and I'd really get into production from an early age. So again, going back to your question, I think technology's moved on so far. It's moved on so far advanced, just channel after channel after channel. Sometimes that's a hindrance, isn't it? So I mean, again, it blows my mind that the way we wrote music back then, it was simple, but at the same time, it was really complicated. Using MIDI cables and having to wire a studio up. You just flip a laptop screen up, stick a set of headphones in, and download a hooky copy of Ableton.
So surreal.
That's so crazy. Like, it's so crazy. Like that. Your music, even in the 1992, you started making music, and your music it's just been phenomenal. Like, I know we have DJ Ganesh in the chat, and I know he's probably been playing you since the 1992s also. So that's just insane. Like how much it, like, oh god, that's so, I can't even think about that. So that's awesome. All right, guys, keep asking those questions. So last time I interviewed you, we talked about how Armin had dubbed you the Scottish Lord of Tech Trance. But in recent years, you have really been across the spectrum with the trance sounds. Do you think you still hold that Scottish Lord of Tech Trance title? And how do you describe your overall sound to people?
I would say the more techier sound. It's almost industrial at times. I'm always searching for new sounds. I use a Virus TI quite a lot. No, I say quite a lot. I'm trying to play that down. I use it in every single track that I write. But I've got a habit of, I won't just find a sound and record it, I play it in. See at the end of, just a couple of wee tips and tricks, but see at the end of every track that I write, I have nothing in MIDI. There's nothing at all in MIDI. I burn everything into audio, and I'm quite fast at committing. See, if I like a sound, I'll get it in. Then I'll manipulate that sound, and that sound goes through 6 or 7 burn downs before I get to the actual sound that I'm happy with. So I commit, and see if I don't like it, it's gone. See, even if it sounds amazing, but there's just something not sitting, it's gone. I don't even have a second thought. It's gone. See if I don't ever use it again. I don't. I'll just move on to the next side. But I think I'd say my sound's more kind of hard-edged, kind of peak time, industrial, with a bit of euphoria in there somewhere. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just dark and, just, I don't know, evil sounding. I'm just always trying to. Do you know what's great? Over the last maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe 4 years, 5 years, I've actually kind of developed a little my own sound. I've got my own unique sound. I know I haven't, and it's good because back in the day when I was writing hardcore, I had my own unique sound. But I like writing all types of stuff. But I would say the tech trance stuff is just kind of dark, industrial, full on, driving.
I love it.
Trance,
you keep doing it.
Elements.
Don't change that sound.
No, don't. I love it.
It's trying to develop that sound. It's trying to just keep the same sound, but just try and expand and develop it. And just keep searching for. I don't want to spend 8 and 9 hours. Just sound designing. I've not got time for that. I want a few tweaks here and there on my Virus. I want to run it through a dozen plugins to get that whatever sound I'm looking for. Where I'm not just talking about a reverb or a delay. I'm just looking for just plugins that you would never put on a sound. Just try everything. Go through every single plugin that you've got, and just see what that does. Save it as a preset and use it, and you start to build up your unique kind of flavour. I'll just for me, I've got channel strips. I'll just click one button and just spit out certain racks of EQs and delays and reverbs and distortions and crazy shit flying about all over the place. See, the more crazy that is, the better for me.
Yeah.
So it is, you know.
Well, I love it. I'm every time I see you, I'm literally this is like it's a workout, just fist pumping the whole time to your music. It's like it's awesome. Go ahead, Alistair.
Oh man. All right. 2020 saw the year you performed at one of the last festivals before the pandemic at a SOT 950. How does it feel to know that you got to play one of the last festivals? How did you feel closing out the 138 stage?
Oh man, it was amazing. Do you know what? See, when my agent, when Bram told me I was playing it, I was absolutely, even though I've been in this scene for such a long time, and I'm not one for getting bitter. I see other DJs when I wasn't maybe playing those gigs. I'm not a sort of person who go, well, how the fuck am I not playing that? I should be playing that. I'm such and such. I should be playing that. No. You don't. That's not the way life works. You need to stay humble. And you have to just doing what you love, and hopefully you might get that opportunity. And that opportunity came along. I thought it passed me by. I genuinely did think it passed me by, the opportunity to play a State of Trance. Because for me, I don't know if every other DJ is the same in the trance community, but for me, that's the pinnacle. For me, anyway, that's one of the gigs that you would really want to play. And when Bram says I was closing the 138 stage, I was just it's hard to put into words what I felt, just all those long hours in the studio. I know it's only one gig, but that gig meant so much to me, and I'm not ashamed to say that, it meant so much doing that. And it's funny because we went there, I took my girlfriend and I went over there with my best mate and Jack's sister, and we had a great weekend, I went over on the Friday, but I just couldn't settle because I knew I was on last, and I just getting that, man, and it's just, I knew I had to be on point. I knew every mix had to be on point, because you just felt as if the weight of the whole trance world was looking at you. Everybody's just looking at you and just, and so it was an opportunity that I didn't want. One, it was incredible to get the opportunity to play it, and two, I just wanted to make sure I was prepared so I could walk off that stage and say, I gave everything and I prepared for it rather than making a mess of it and walking off. Well, you deserve what you get. You had a brilliant opportunity and you didn't do the things that you had to do in order to make sure that your performance was the best that you could make it. But it was mind blowing. It's bizarre because you've got this big spotlight in front of you and you can't see anybody. It was like playing in your bedroom. But
the 138 stage, because I've been to ASOT and U-Track, that stage is huge. I mean, it's not as big as the main stage. That thing's just
that's
stadium on its own. But that stage is huge, and
it was mind blowing. It was incredible. It was absolutely amazing. I loved every single minute. I loved playing, but the concentration. It looks as if I was really enjoying myself, but the concentration for that full set.
At like 5 to 6 a.m. I can only imagine.
And I was just thinking about the set all the way for the day I arrived in Amsterdam to the day to the minute that I'd kind of walked off stage. But I knew, and within it's like being a football player, innit? You don't need anybody else to tell you you had a good game. I knew when I came off the set, I says, okay, I done everything that I wanted to do there. I hit every mix point, hit every cue point, and I played the tracks that I wanted to play. I just didn't want to go in there because it was the end closing set and play classics. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go on and play the music that I feel I get booked for.
Yeah.
The reason I get booked for. So I wanted to stay true to myself, and the people that made the effort to come and see me at the end, and it was incredible. It was great meeting everybody after the show, and it was amazing. It was mind blowing. It was, It was. It holds a wee special place in my heart. That gig, it really did.
Awesome.
It was incredible. Loved it.
I love it. I was watching it at home, and yeah, your set was just amazing.
So good.
So we have a question from the chat. RJ Van Zetten wants to know what is the current DAW that you use and your favorite virtual synth you use.
Well, I've been a Cubase user for forever.
Mhm.
Since way back in the day. I know a lot of people use Ableton and stuff like that nowadays. Logic, but I'm still a Cubase user. Mark's a Cubase user. I know Paul Denton's a Cubase guy as well. So it's good when we're all doing collabs. We're just kind of bouncing names and files and stuff like that. It's quite easy that way, But I use Ableton with Cubase. I rewire it together. So I'll put up Cubase and I'll put up Ableton. It could be a trick for anybody out there that's on Cubase. Then you can preview your loops. You can preview everything in Ableton and just export it straight to Cubase.
What?
So I run the two of them together in sync. So that's why, because there's nothing worse, and try to make look for sounds and loops. Then you drag them into the Cubase and it doesn't work. Whereas I can play the loop that I'm playing in Cubase and I can just skip, and just keep skipping, just instantly, just bang in, bang in, bang in, do a wee bit of post-production, pre-production, sorry, boom, get it in. I always need to be moving. I can't be clicking through 100 kick drums or 100 snares, man. I need to keep that momentum. I need to keep that intensity, that vibe going all the time when I'm writing. So yeah, I use Cubase and Ableton in conjunction with each other.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're gonna download Cubase now, Alistair?
It's super funny because in my intro to music production MIDI class, they really pushed Cubase, but I was always gravitating more towards Logic.
Logic's great. I know Will Reese uses Logic, and I'm sure Sean, you'd used Logic forever. John Askew uses Logic.
Well, I mean, Sean's big push now is Ableton.
Ableton, yeah, he was a massive Logic user, and now he's just nailed the Ableton sound. For me, I did a few tracks in Ableton while my studio was getting built. But it was just, again, going back to what we were talking about earlier about studios. I wrote a few tracks for quite a big label with a set of headphones in a coffee shop in one silent. So I did. So it can be done.
You made silence in a coffee shop on headphones?
No, but I made a few tracks for a few labels in a coffee shop while my studio was getting built. But again, going back to that previous question, he asked me what my favourite soft synth was. I've got an array of soft synths I like. Spire's it's a good synth. June 3 is a good synth as well. That's pretty cool. The quality of June is, and my favourite soft synth is Diva. So it's UHE Diva. It's incredible. I love it.
Brilliant. This is production talk. It's right over my head.
It's an incredible synth. It really is. So it is. I love
it. So, everyone knows your friendship and partnership with your fellow countryman Mark Sherry goes back decades, from Public Domain to your newer collab, Thick as Thieves. Yeah. How do you maintain a friendship like that in a scene that can be very up and down and cutthroat at times? And any upcoming projects that we can expect as fans?
How do you maintain a friendship? First and foremost, Mark's a friend before anything else. He's almost like a brother to me, so I only ever want the best for Mark, and I'm sure he only wants the best for me. If Mark's headlining Glastonbury, I'd be over the moon. If he was headlining the biggest gig ever to hit this planet, I'd be absolutely over the moon for him, and I'm sure he would for me. So again, egos and rivalry and stuff like that. It doesn't even enter the equation when it comes to me, Mark. It doesn't really. I'm just paddling my own canoe, man. So I'm staying in my own lane, doing my own thing, and collaborating with people, like-minded people that I resonate to. I'm quite a people person, and I resonate to certain guys. I'm really friendly with Paul Denton and Will Atkinson and Andy Schneider. I'm friendly with loads and loads of people in the scene. There's nobody in my scene or in the trance community that I don't think, that I don't get on with. Everybody's doing their own thing, and if they're getting a gig bigger than me or whatever, that's amazing. That's great. I'm just trying to do my stuff in my studio.
Mm.
I can hold my head high. I can walk into any room and I don't really need to. I'm not the type of person that walks into a room and gives it, "Hey, I'm here," sort of thing. I'm quite humble. I'm quite shy as well. And I'm just doing my thing, man. Just staying in my own lane, paddling my own canoe, doing my shit. Mark's just. I've known Mark's forever. I've known Mark since 1993.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we've known each other a long, long time. We've been through loads of experiences together, doing the public domain thing. Had some crazy tours in Australia, some brilliant times. We really did. We had some. We're still having some great times, and we're still collaborating a lot in the studio. And we've got loads of wee ideas on cooking on the go for the thickest these stuff. We've got a few tracks sitting there. I'm sure we'll release pretty shortly. But yeah, it's all good. But again, no rivalry with early Mark. That's just Mark's Mark.
I love that. I wish more people have that kind of mentality in the scene, because I don't feel it should be a competition. I feel like everybody can make it together if we all support each other and we just what's best. Just make good music. That's all I ask.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, I just want to be able to, again, wake up and just go into the studio and write music and tour if I can. I love touring. It's tough at times, but I love it. I've missed it. I really have. I've really missed it over the last 15 months. It's been tough. So much.
So, well, I'm excited. Well, we know you'll be here in November, so that's good.
Absolutely ecstatic.
And hopefully you'll be here a lot more after that. Some club gigs.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
And then Alistair's idea, you're open to close, House Stucker, Dick of Thieves, Forbes.
That's a great idea. Alistair.
Thank you.
I'll mention that to Mark. He'll be all over that.
I would fly anywhere to see this show. So
even if it's like an undisclosed warehouse in New York City, I will go.
An undisclosed warehouse would actually be the perfect location for this show.
Really would.
We just kind of do an intimate hotel room set sort of sketch.
Yeah, as long as it's not on Twitch. As much as I love Twitch, I want to see you live. So
because I can't wait to get playing live again.
All right, Alistair, go ahead.
So Aria Records has seen plenty of fantastic releases over the years. I'm really curious to know, what is your selection process for the label?
I think initially when I set up Aria, it was to more give kind of upcoming producers a platform to release their music. Didn't really release much on it myself initially. It was more, and it's bizarre looking back at some of the releases that we've had in Aria and some of the producers that are doing extremely well nowadays. I don't know, a wee bit of trivia. I actually gave, this is pre-Aria, I actually gave Andrew Bear his first ever vinyl release.
Oh, wow.
I released his first ever track, with Alan Nimmo as Signal Runners. He went on to do stuff in Induna Beats and stuff like that as Signal Runners. Obviously, Andrew's a a huge star in his own right with under the Endurer umbrella and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, I mean, so when I set up at Aria, it was mainly and mostly to give kind of new and upcoming producers a platform to release their music. And nowadays, I'm releasing a lot more on the label, and the selection process is just pretty much see if I'm going to play it out, I'll sign it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's great going back to when I was talking about kind of got my own wee sound going on with myself, and a lot of the demos that I'm getting sent sound like me, which is super cool. It's really, really cool. You know, some of them aren't just quite over the line, but some of them are, you know, and usually the ones that I do sign are the ones that, you know, that I know that I'm going to play out, that are going to fit into the sort of sound that I'm trying to push myself, you know. So that's pretty much the selection process, Alistair, when it comes to releasing tracks on the label. You know, it's mainly just signing tracks that I know that I'm going to. There's no point in signing a track that I'm not going to play. You know, I'm not going to push and promote it gigs.
Mm.
You know, I want to be playing it. You know, I want to make sure that, you know, I want to give it as much exposure as possible for the label and for the artist that's on the label. So do that, yeah. So that's pretty much the process. Signing tracks, man.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So my next question is: so the lines that separate tech trance and techno are being
Yeah.
blurred a lot right now.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on this current state, and do you think it's a good thing, a bad thing, and why is that?
I think it's been like that for a few years anyway. You know, a good few years anyway, with the kind of techno and the trance kind of merging together. I think it's good that all kind of genres of music just pick little cool bits from other genres and try and that's how you grow, isn't it? That's how the scene grows and the sound develops and stuff like that. If you're just constantly just going round in a circle or just chasing your tail, it doesn't really the sound doesn't really grow. I think it's, you know what, I think it's a good thing. I think it's always a good thing that trance music's evolving. There's different little pockets. You get, you know, techno trance, you get tech trance, you get harder trance, you know, you get uplifting trance, progressive. I like all that, you know, and I think there's room for everything. You know, I mean, Alex was a great pioneer in it. Alex Di Stefano. You know, when Mark was starting to release his slower stuff on, you know, because obviously Alex coming from a more techno background, you know, it was, you know, that was kind of Mark was trying to push that sound when he started Outburst as well. Obviously, it's developed and grown into, you know, something a bit bigger than that. You know, but I think it's cool, Daniel. You know, I think it's cool that people are reaching out there and just taking sounds and, you know, like explosions from different styles of music and just adding it in. You've got this big melting pot of music. I mean, I use a lot of techno sounds in my own productions. I make no sound out and out techno, you know, but it's, you know, I'm using, you know, I'll go into all different sorts of sample packs and grab sounds, not from a tech house pack or a techno pack or a deep house pack, you know, if it sounds good, I'll add it. You know, and I think that's why as a producer you need to be able to do that. You need to continue to do that in order to develop your sound and try and expand your sound. I think, you know, so I think it's really cool. I do. I genuinely think it's really cool. And I mean, long may it continue. I'm not a trance snob.
Yeah.
You know, I like all forms of trance music. You know, oh, he's not playing uplifting. You know, I'm not going to go. You know, I'm not going to listen to him. He's playing that harder tech trance stuff or whatever. You know, there's room enough space for everyone, isn't there?
Yeah,
You know,
agreed. I think there's something for everybody in the scene.
Yeah, totally. You don't want to go to a night and just hear the same sort of music all night that's why you've got guys doing open to closes. You can right through the spectrum of trance music, whether it be techno, starting off progressive, going into some techno, going into some uplifting, and just smashing it out towards the end.
Yep.
Anything goes. It's just absolute carnage, isn't it?
It is.
I think some of the best open closes I've seen are like Indecent Noise. He starts pretty much almost in like ambient and he just goes fucking Indecent Noise
That's
mental
amazing.
asylum
No,
crazy
Alex
at the end.
They ask you
he's
open
such
the
a cool guy.
closes for me.
That was an amazing
Yeah.
6 hour. But yeah, I love when that whole spectrum, and you know, like I said, for you, your aliases alone, you can do the whole spectrum just of all your
Yeah,
music.
yeah, totally. I'd love to do an open to close. Yeah, I've not done one yet. You know, I would genuinely love to do that. You know, just go
Alistair, you
through
hear this, right? We got to make it happen.
the
A
full
David Forbes
spectrum.
open and
I
close.
have Ulrich's phone number right
Yes, we
here.
should get Ulrich in the chat and say, Ulrich, let's make this happen.
Yeah, I'm all over that. 100%. I'm
We're
all
gonna
over
put
that.
Ulrich and Bram in conversation to make this happen. Okay.
Love it.
Keep asking those questions, guys. Go ahead, Alistair.
Right, so as of this interview, Ecuador has been released on 138, which you debuted at Ace on 950 as your closing track. What does Ecuador mean to you personally?
The track's called, sorry, Alistair, Equator. Is that the one you're talking about? It's just been
Yeah,
released yesterday.
I've been pronouncing it Ecuador, like the country.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fail on my part.
No, that's all good, man. That's all good. You know what? I mean, it's just that I've actually got quite a few signed to Who's Afraid of 138 for the rest of the year. A few cool collabs in there as well. But I'm just trying to continue the theme of what I've been releasing for the last couple of years. You know, I just want to keep on developing this. I don't want to be flogging a dead horse. I want to really just keep expanding on the sound. It's bizarre because the stuff that I'm putting out in 138 is slightly different from the stuff that I'm doing for Mark. It seems to be more kind of tech trance with psy undertones, whereas the stuff that I'm doing for Armada seems to be just full on carnage with a big huge breakdown in the middle, followed by full on carnage. You know, so I'm just trying to constantly develop that sound and try and introduce super cool wee fills rather than a drum fill. I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of the tracks that I tend to do, they start off with this kind of unique signature fill at the big end of the track. And I've tried to continue that theme over the last 5 or 6 tracks, you know, and long may it continue. I just want to keep on just pushing that kind of dark, bass heavy sound.
Yeah.
You know that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to develop that sound even more so, even though I've been releasing that sort of sound for 2 years, the best part of 2 years. I just want to continue doing it because I think there's still loads of legs left in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'm starting to hear other people trying to do it, not copy me as such, you know, everybody takes influences from everyone, you know, but I can go, that sounds a wee bit like me. Oh, that sounds like a wee bit like that track. Oh, but then I like the kind of obscene, filthy sound that I was doing for Damaged.
I love that song.
That. You know, so I've just finished one recently, 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and it's got that kind of big, hard. It's not got that kind of rolly bass like, you know, the tech stuff that I'm doing for Armada at the moment. It's got more the kind of Damaged sound, and I think it's 143, 142 BPM, so it's a wee bit faster.
Oh yes.
But the breakdown,
the
breakdown is like the breakdown is like Godzilla's just walked up the street. You know, there's no big float, there's no big floaty riffs in this one. You know, it's just like, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if I'll get away with that. I don't.
What have I done?
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, I'm speaking to a few of the other guys in the studio and what do you think? And you're just giving it, you know, it's just absolutely wild. You know, it's just, I don't think I could distort it even any more than I could have. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just like the devil's screaming for his mum. It's so dark. I mean, it's proper dark. You know, it's, when you hear it, you're just giving it. Oh.
Where's it signed to?
Do you know what? I've not. I'm scared to send it away.
Jesus
I see a mental
Christ.
asylum track coming its way.
Yeah, definitely mental asylum.
It's absolute. It's yeah. It's got that kind of obscene, filthy sound, but it's like, I don't know if you remember the track "Panic Room" that I done in Damaged, that had that sort of, didn't have a big breakdown in the middle,
my
just
God.
had these crazy sounds.
Yeah.
It's maybe Panic Room on steroids.
Oh wow.
So it really is.
Panic Room was fucking
yeah, it was
like,
it was
you could scare
on.
your mother with that song.
Yeah, this this is taking it. This is going deeper into the woods.
Yeah.
You know, it's
yeah, I need this track like
Yeah.
yesterday.
Please play it at Dream State.
Do you know what? I'm actually probably going to use the breakdown as my intro. So I'll either clear the place.
Oh no.
We're gonna pack the stage out. We're gonna pack that stage out for you.
Yeah. I think I might just go on the mic, give them a wee warning. Please just stay. If you don't like it, just stay for the.
If you don't like it, just leave.
Yeah.
If it doesn't scare you, then leave.
It's only 45 seconds. I'm sure you can handle 45 seconds of absolute carnage. Then we can move on to the kind of lighter carnage. Alistair, I'll send you a wee snippet of it.
Oh, that'll be awesome. Thank you.
I don't think I've actually uploaded it to Dropbox. I'm scared to do that too.
Dropbox is going to be like a malfunction.
Yeah,
Dropbox will error 404.
Yeah. But I'm excited about that track, and I've tried to take influences from drum and bass into that track because I find some of the drum and bass is just the production on it. It's just another level. So as in the sounds and the way they keep all those sounds kind of sitting together, all compressed and all, and some of the sound design they're doing is just it's mind-boggling. So I'm trying my hardest to just take a wee bit of that into just the darkness, the carnage into the kind of tech trance sort of sound, but I'll just let you hear the breakdown. It's genuinely it would fit right in a Godzilla movie.
I was so excited for this.
So it would.
Jesus Christ.
So obviously
that's exactly what I was saying when I was writing.
So obviously you haven't played this track live for anybody yet.
No.
How many songs do you have currently out or released or in the process of being released that you have not been able to play live yet?
I mean, I've got a full year of track. The whole of last year, I released a track I think I released maybe 16 tracks last year, including the remixes. And I've got a lot sitting with a few labels. Then I've got a desktop folder full of tracks as well. So Danielle, there's loads sitting there, and it's not that I'm not wanting to release them. It's just that I'm in the studio every day.
Yeah.
So I'm writing every day. So I end up with loads of tracks, in all different styles. So it's just try to strategically release them at the right time. Then if you've had tracks out, there's labels getting remixes of those tracks. Yeah. So I don't want anything to clash. I don't want two tracks coming out in the same week. I'm just trying to, try to structure it throughout the year and get the most amount of tracks out as possible, but no, I've got an addiction to releasing a track every month. Thankfully I've got a hold of it this year.
Yeah.
And it's not been as full on as it was last year. I don't know why. It's just the way, I don't know, maybe I've just been a bit slow about putting them out. I don't know why, what the reason is, but I have loads of tracks sitting there, Daniel, ready to go. Tons.
Well, I hope we hear them all at Dream State.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
2 hours set for David Forbes.
Yeah.
Oh, please. Please.
So, talking about aliases. So I love your alias, House Stucker. Any upcoming projects or releases for House?
Yeah, I mean, the album's finished.
Yay.
The album's finished. It's done. So it's what am I going to do with it? I don't know.
And you release it on vinyl?
Yeah. Do you know what? I probably will. I would let us a wee exclusive. I think I might release it in vinyl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take my money. Where do I send you my money?
Yeah. Do you know, it's I've tried to keep in the same vein as the last album, but I don't know, man. I just think you hear a lot of the lockdown in the tracks. A lot of the tracks are quite. Some of the tracks are really reflective. There's, it's like one track finishes, then it just goes into this beautiful piece of music with no beats. Beautiful strings and pianos. Then it'll just slip into the next track. Then that track will finish and it'll go into this next. There's kind of loads of wee interludes, and it's quite. I mean, it's quite emotional. Some of the tracks for me. It's really cool. I really like it. It's different. It's the same, but it's different. I'm really excited about it. I've got Emma doing a track. Susie Le's done a track on it. Emma's done a few tracks. Emma Gillespie's done a few vocals on a few of the tracks, and Susie Ledge has done a super cool vocal on one of the tracks too. So nice. I'm really excited about it. The artwork's getting done at the moment.
Let me guess, Kano is doing the artwork?
Yeah, I think yes, yeah.
Thought so.
Yeah.
Thought so.
Yeah. Dion's he's just such a...
He's unreal.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, just such a super cool guy, man.
He's been so there. Talented.
Yeah, he's been there for me. Yeah, over the years, he's just such a cool, amazing human being.
Yes,
we don't talk as frequent as we used to, just real life kicks in. He's got his daughter, I've got my daughter, he's doing his Adidas thing, he's doing a lot of work with Adidas and stuff like that, isn't he? So we still touch base every now and again, ask him how he is, and he wished me Father's Day a couple of weeks ago and stuff like that. Just
love it.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, Alistair, go ahead.
Ooh. So what I'm curious to know is, have you been mentally during COVID-19? Because I've noticed on your socials, you've been posting a lot of gym work, doing CrossFit. Has CrossFit been a major part of your life in general, or did it just ramp up during COVID-19 to keep you mentally sane?
Mentally, I've been fine during it all. Again, like we spoke about earlier, at the beginning it was quite scary. You're just trying to think, well, what's going to happen here? How am I going to pay my bills like everybody else? We'd just moved house a week before lockdown into a new house and stuff like that. So we're still unpacking boxes. We've got this new mortgage, and there's no income anywhere. But it was scary. But I'm a kind of person that has to light a fire under his ass every day. I don't want to be a tire kicker. So when my back's against the wall, I tend to just kind of snap into survival mode. And mentally I've been fine. I genuinely have been fine throughout. I have to stay positive for my family, for my daughter. I just and mentally stay positive because I need to be creative. And when you're not get positive thoughts and you're not, I don't know, you're just a wee bit, I wouldn't say depressed, but you're a wee bit anxious and, fearful for what the future holds. It's very difficult to be creative. So I need to be, this is what, writing music and being in the studio every day is what I do. So I just had to stay positive. CrossFit, I only found CrossFit. Anybody that knows me, Daniel, they know I'm a huge, you just call it soccer, we call it football. I've played it, that really keeps me sane as well, even though we weren't playing a lot of it during lockdown, but I done my first marathon during lockdown, and I went out running, and I kept fit. But CrossFit I found 2 years ago, a CrossFit gym opened up below my studio. I'd never heard of CrossFit, and I think I've always hated gyms. Hated them. I'd rather be out kicking a ball, playing football, training, and that kind of dressing room environment with the banters flowing, and and you've got a ball at your feet, and half the time you don't even know how much you're running just because you're enjoying it that much. And gyms never gave me that excitement or feeling, and CrossFit did. And I think it's more of a lifestyle rather than just going to the gym. Yeah. And the people in the gym, the CrossFit gyms, the CrossFit community on a whole is just full of wonderful human beings, absolutely wonderful humans, and it's infectious. The whole CrossFit thing, for me, is infectious. I can't get enough of that. I hated lifting. My wee chicken arms and stuff like that. I hated lifting weights and stuff like that, but the environment, when you go into that CrossFit environment, I don't know, it just gives you so much confidence. So it's an incredible. If you've never tried it, you really need to try it.
Mm.
I'm on the phone to CrossFit affiliation here, so I want a wage share for pushing this CrossFit sketch. So but no, I've loved it, and it has been it has kept me sane, even though a lot of the gyms were closed. But it's another activity that I love doing. I love it. It's brilliant. Physically and mentally, it keeps me strong.
Mm.
So it does. You feel amazing. It's hard work, and you don't have to spend loads of time doing 2 hours in the gym. The workouts, they call them WODs, workout of the days, run for 20, 30, 40 minutes max. It's not a long time, but you feel as if you've been battered for days. But yeah. I mean, mentally, I feel great during lockdown. I've tried to just stay positive and just hopefully we can all come out of the other end, positive as well.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
world really has to get its shit together pronto.
Yeah.
So it does,
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad between your soccer, football, and CrossFit. So the last time we talked, you had said that the motto that you live by is chase your passion.
Yeah.
After being locked in for over a year, are you still been able to chase your musical passion?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I've been going to the studio every day. Last year, super productive. 2020 was proper productive for me. I couldn't complain. I was more than happy the way things panned out musically for me. I know a lot of producers maybe couldn't get motivated or into the studio, but for me, I was pretty much the opposite. I just kind of get the bit between the teeth and just went in, and grinded through it, and tried to stay productive, and do some vocal tracks. I knew nobody was going anywhere. So if you wanted a top line done, it was hopefully that particular artist was in the right frame of mind, in the right headspace to do it. But yeah, I mean, I found it, I was super productive. It didn't hinder me any in the studio at all.
That's good.
Yeah. I've just tried to stay positive through the whole situation, Daniel. It's either that or you just curl up and hide behind the couch for a year and a half, and I wasn't prepared to do that. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that because I find getting into the studios again. I'm taking it back to a soccer analogy. See, when you're training every day, you're sharp. See, you're not in the studio every day, you lose your edge a bit a little. And I didn't want 1 month to turn into 2 months to turn into 3 months. Then before you know it, I've not been in the studio for the last year, and for me personally, that just wasn't an option. I had to get in. Again, I was just leaving the house, jumping in my car, straight to my studio. I wasn't going to the shops because the shops are closed anyway. I was taking food with me, I was taking refreshments with me, going straight to the studio. No one else was in the studio, it was just me. So I wasn't kind of coming into contact with other people, and hopefully not breaking the rules too much.
Awesome. Thank you. So we have some questions from the chat. We're getting ready to wrap up, you guys. So make sure you get those last questions in here. So we're already at the hour mark. So this is fantastic. So Luminous wants to know, what is David Forbes' favorite snack while you're producing?
Yeah.
It's easy. A snack. Is Red Bull a snack?
Red Bull?
Red Bull? Yeah, I would consider Red Bull a snack.
We'll say it's a snack.
Okay. Definitely Red Bull. Again, anybody that knows me will know that every single photograph in the studio, I think that's been taken over the last 20 years, there's a Red Bull hanging about there somewhere, 2 or 3 maybe. I really need to get off it. I've got a bit of an addiction to it.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, Danielle, Red Bull just kind of sprung up, and they pumped the clubs full of crates and crates of Red Bull. They gave us it all for free. There was just a dozen crates every Friday, Saturday. We were just, hey, what's this stuff? Red Bull? Wow, this is amazing.
About 10 years ago, one of my customers owned a liquor store, and he would bring a case of Red Bull for my
God.
employees and stuff. So I was always like at least 2 Red Bulls a day, and I got like so addicted. Like I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack at one point though, because like
Yeah.
I was like I had to lay off of it for a little bit.
Jesus.
Daniel, I'm having 2 Red Bulls just for my breakfast. So
And
Breakfast
that's why
of
you're able to produce
champions.
as fast as you are.
and there's a guy in the gym down the stairs who works for Red Bull. You know, so he brings me in. He turns up in the Red Bull car and stuff like that. And
Oh
just
God.
gets a Red Bull.
So you have the Red Bull connection downstairs. You have the Red Bull connection at the clubs. You are set.
Yeah.
God.
We're gonna get you sponsored by Red Bull.
Oh, do you know what? Now we're talking.
It's the dream.
Now we are talking. That is the dream.
We're having the David Forbes tour sponsored by Red Bull.
All over that.
God.
Foggy Ray also wants to know, how long does it take you on average to finish a song? And any tips for producers with a lot of unfinished projects?
Yeah. So it depends. You know, some songs will finish in a couple of days. You know, some tracks will finish and maybe I'll just keep chipping away at it. You know, it might take a week, might take a couple of weeks max, you know, but you know, the initial idea is down in a couple of days. And for new producers, see if you're writing tracks, just try and get from point A to point B. Finish a track, because then you're training your mind, your brain, to get from point A to point B, rather than getting to the breakdown and thinking, I can't play a breakdown because I can't play the piano. Mm-hmm. I know there's some amazing producers out there in the trance scene that can't play the piano, that just draw it in. So or grab a MIDI file from a sample pack and manipulate the MIDI notes, reverse them, change the notes, put it in a different key, you know, change the notes up and down until you think it sounds great. But what I would say is try and just train your brain to get from point A to point B with a track. Finish it, see if it's shit. Your next one might not be as shit as the previous one. And gradually, you know, at least when you start a track, 9 times out of 10, you'll finish a track. Rather than just stopping when it gets hard. Just keep fucking knocking that wall down until it's down and you can just carry on. You know, we all hit points in tracks that we don't think, you know, and just get, right, what am I going to do here? What am I going to do at the drop? Nah, that sounds like the last track. Right, I want it to sound like the last track, but I want it to be different. Labels want you to, you know, labels say, we need you to be different. They want you to be the same as all the other artists, but they want you to be different. They want you to have your unique sound. Yeah. You know, and, you know, I just think you just need to finish a track. Every track you try and do, just finish it. See, even if the breakdown shit, the riff, just finish it, man. You know, and you can sit back 5.5 minutes, 6.5 minutes. Okay, you know, at least you know the process of getting from point A to point B. Then your brain will just automatically be like that all the time. Every time you sit down, you'll finish a track. You'll get to a point where like, fuck, that track's really cool. Well, I think it's really cool. You send it to a label signs it, boom, your confidence is through the roof. You know, so just try and finish all the tracks that you do. You may not finish them all, but try and finish more than 50% of them anyway, Daniel. And you know, that's a cool wee bit of advice that I always say anyway. Yeah. You know, I finish every track I do, every single track. So I do. You know, even if it's not in the style of music that I'm known for, I'll finish it. But what I do when I set out to write a different style of music, I'll try and make sure if I was going to release that track, it stands up with the rest of the music within that genre. Yeah. You know, I just don't want to be a trance producer writing drum and bass. you know, or a trance producer trying to write a house tune. I write loads of different styles of music, so I need to make sure I write tech house for maybe a few other people as well, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm doing a couple of bits of engineering.
I did not know that. That's awesome. Learned something new. So my final question. So pre-pandemic, we have all taken things for granted in the past. What is something that you'll never take for granted now?
I just think, I mean, first and foremost, I don't want to take your family and your friends for granted, do you? Mm-hmm. You know, not having that that opportunity to go visit, to go and hug your mum. Christmas Day, I'm having to stand X amount of meters away from my mum. My brother's fiance just had a baby last weekend. He had to wait and speak to her from a car park. She was 2 stories up because he couldn't go in to the hospital until she was due to give birth. Then he could go in. So it's just crazy things like that that we took for granted our whole lives. So I wouldn't take, friends and family. I won't certainly take for granted. And most importantly, I won't take freedom for granted ever again. Just that freedom to do whatever you want. It's bizarre. If somebody said to you 2 years ago all the things that was going to happen in the last 15 months, you'd have drove them straight to the hospital. And says, look, really need to look at my friend here. He's really unwell. It's just some of the shit that's happened in the last 16 months. You genuinely couldn't make it up.
Yeah. I've never in my 38 years on this planet would have said I was going to live through a global pandemic. It's insane.
It's so surreal.
Yeah, and there's so many sides to the argument. So there is, I'm not an anti-vaxxer or I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but some of those conspiracy guys that were shouting certain things last year, some of those things have actually came true.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting wow, man. It's just, I try not to. I'm not trying to be naive and blinkered about the whole thing, but I just don't want it to consume me.
Yeah.
I let it consume me at the beginning. I don't want it. I can't. I don't want it to let it consume me now. I just want it. Personally, just me personally, I just want to get shit in the road again.
Yeah.
Not from a business sort of thing, but just the whole world. Let's get moving again, man. Safely. Everyone's getting the vaccines and whatever else. I'm just praying. I don't want to come across political or anything like that. I'm just a dude trying to do my shit, writing some tunes, bringing up my daughter, man. I hope things get back to the way it was. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Thank you. Alistair, last question.
Last question from me. If you could tell the world one thing, what would it be?
Fuck, Alistair, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's a curveball. I never seen that one. Was that the questions?
You just made that one up.
So repeat that again. What did you say there, Alistair?
If you could tell the world one thing, what would it be?
Fuck.
Yeah.
Tell the world one thing. I can tell the world one thing. Be kind to each other, eh? Just treat people the way you would like to be treated yourself. Cliche saying, but we just really need to be kinder to each other sometimes, don't we? Just with all this stuff that's happened over the last 15 months is, everything's been magnified, hasn't it? The slightest wee thing, and just some scary shit went on in the last 15 months, with the full political thing, just there's just been so many things that have happened, and I just wish people would be a wee bit more kinder, and I just hoping moving forward, I don't know, man. That's a curveball and a half, Alice. That's a question and a half. Well, so
I think your answer is perfect.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that then.
Well, thank you so much, David, for joining us today. Absolute pleasure to speak with you. You're an absolute legend.
No, thank you.
I can't wait for you to hear at Dream State. I can't wait to hopefully see you somewhere in the world playing. Your set's will be.
I can't wait for you.
Everyone who's in the chat, make sure you're at Dream State and watch this man's set.
Let's go.
He's going to scare us all in the first 45 seconds.
Yeah. Don't leave. Just stay. even if you're scared, just stay.
Just
After
stay.
the breakdown.
Make
Yeah.
it through the 45 seconds.
Yeah.
We can get
Yeah.
through it, you guys.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, David. We really, really appreciate everyone who in the chat. Thank you so much for participating, asking questions. We appreciate you. We are back at the end of the month. We'll have all the flyers and some of the makeup dates that we have to do. Those will be up soon. So otherwise, have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.